Hey guys, this is going to be a review of episode 9 of Reign for King and Country. I definitely have to say that Mary and Sebastian jumping off of the cliff was pretty cool. And then Mary and Sebastian in the room together was awkward, and it did not go as far as I had been expecting it to go, because it was actually kind of odd that I was not at all expecting Mary and Sebastian to wind up back at the palace that soon. They weren't even gone for pretty much at all. They left at the end of the last episode, and then this episode they're back at the palace within the first 5 minutes maybe. So that was kind of unexpected. I kind of expected them to play that out more and play out a romance between Mary and Sebastian, not necessarily a romance, but kind of hint at that or whatever, and which they still kind of are. I just expected it to happen while they were going to Scotland together or whatever. So that was kind of a surprise, but not an entirely unwelcome surprise, since I enjoy them being at the castle together, and I don't really like Sebastian and Mary as a couple, so I'm happy that they're not alone together. I kind of think it's ridiculous how adamant Catherine is about Francis not knowing about the prophecy, because honestly, I don't really believe in the prophecy anyway. I know historically what happens, but I'm not even sure how close the show is going to follow history, because in a lot of ways it already isn't. But just this whole, she believes in the prophecy so much, and if you really believed in that prophecy, I just feel keeping it from Francis is the wrong thing, and she's so adamant about doing it, and she keeps telling Mary that if Mary tells Francis, then he will convince her that the prophecy isn't true using logic and reason. And to me that just says, well, if he's able to convince her, it's probably because he has the better argument, and it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I was very happy that he finally found out about the prophecy in this episode, and I'm glad that that's out in the open. And Kenna told everyone that she thought that Ailey had been poisoned, which it took her long enough to bring that up. You'd think she would have said something a lot earlier than she did, but at least that was out in the open. And then Mary confronted Catherine about it, and I actually thought that was an interesting exchange, because Catherine kind of openly admits that she wanted Kenna poisoned, but that says that she was fond of Ailey, which I found was I thought was interesting. I don't know, just kind of showing her human side, where she doesn't just kill anyone, but she is willing to kill people that she thinks stands in her way, which is an interesting kind of aspect of her character, I guess. And then of course we have Mary's plan to marry Sebastian and make him king and everything. I feel like I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. That was definitely a surprise for me, but with all of the stuff in the earlier episodes about legitimizing Sebastian and everything going on, I feel like I should have seen that coming, but I'm not entirely sure how long that's going to get played out either. But I definitely don't think they're going to get married. I'm not really holding any historical things to this, because it's so historically inaccurate in some ways that I never really know when they're going to stick to history or not. But I still don't really think they're going to get married. So there's no doubt in my mind that Mary and Francis are going to end up married at some point, and not just because they were married in history, but because it's just from the show you can tell what's going to happen. But I just wonder how long they're going to carry out this Sebastian thing. I think it's interesting, but also I don't know, I'm really wondering if Henry is going to get the annulment from Catherine, first of all, because obviously that has to happen before Sebastian's legitimized. But I was looking up stuff after the episode last night to see if what happened with their marriage in history, even though I said already that I don't really think that that's necessarily shows anything about how the show is going to go, but I needed to know just based off of that. But like, I don't know. I don't know if I think marriage is going to get annulled or not. Historically, it wasn't, but like, I just can't see it happening in the show. But I do think that this episode showed a really interesting dynamic in Catherine and Henry's relationship with that, because now he's like threatening to get an annulment from her and take away all of her power, and she really like works hard to maintain her power, and now she's kind of like losing it all. And that's kind of like what her entire character has been, well, protecting her sons, but mostly by protecting her son's power. And so now she's kind of like risking losing all of that, and that's very interesting to me. And just that entire, how that all played out was very interesting to me. And then when they were talking about marrying Sebastian, when Francis said that he would like not necessarily support them, but he's not like actively trying to stop them too, I thought was a very interesting dynamic. I really like Francis and Sebastian's relationship as brothers, considering it would be really easy to get really jealous of each other considering the situation, but the fact that they like get along as well as siblings can and actually like support each other somewhat is, even though it's a really messed up situation and I don't agree with it, I think it's a horrible idea just to marry Sebastian so that Francis won't die because of a prophecy. But yeah, I feel like I've ranted about this for like way too long, but it's just a very interesting situation, and I'm interested to see how they play all of that out. I do have to say that I'm still really confused about Clarissa and why she's there, and I really hope that we get some backstory on her soon. And now Nostradamus is dead, which was an interesting plot twist that I was not expecting, and I have no idea how he actually died. I don't know why I didn't look that up when I was looking everything else up last night, but he was like the only one who like talked to her and everything, so it'll be interesting to see what we learn about Clarissa now that he's gone, and like how we'll get information about her, because I really want to know what she's doing there and everything like to do with that. But I think that is all, and I will see you guys later. Bye.